What if I told you that one real estate agent went from 8 million in sales to over 30 million in sales in just 1 year using nothing but YouTube? Well, that's exactly what happened to Kyle's friend Greg because of YouTube leads. Welcome back to our YouTube Mastery series with Kyle Handy. I'm AJ Maida, and if you missed part 1, make sure to check that out after this video. Today in part 2, Kyle's diving deep into the foundation of YouTube success, keyword research, and video ideation. Plus, he's sharing accountability strategies that are game-changing. Let's jump in.
We're going to cover a super important topic today. We're going to be going over and last time, we talked all about setting up your channel. I'm going to talk a little bit about accountability. I think it'll be really interesting as we go, move forward on this, as we're like releasing videos, just to see who's releasing videos, how many videos are they releasing, what type of views are they starting to experience and see on their channel. Because it's hard to compare to a channel that's already established, to see those numbers. But when you're all in the same spot, I think it'll be really good. My goal by the end of this is to have every one of you, have your channel up, optimized, looks good, and then, have published your first video that is also optimized and ready to go. So by the end of the 5 weeks, that's where we're all going to be at. So we might as well look at the accountability piece, have that ready to go. We're going to hopefully have all of our channels, and each week we'll report back, how many videos did we publish for the week? It might be 1, it might be 2, it might be 0. What were your views for that week? What was your watch time for that week? And how many subscribers did you have added for that week? Right. So that's what we're going to look at week over week. I also thought about we could also put in a total, what you're at, just because as a roll up. So that way, if you see somebody and it's oh, well, they're getting a lot of views. Well, that's because they've already got, 16 videos on their channel. They've already, got 430 subscribers or whatever. So that way you kind of know. But in general, this is more about just trying to do the precursor work. How many videos did you publish? Because in the beginning, I mean, you don't want to put out junk, but at the same time, it is just trying to get, your first 50 to 75 videos up in your channel as fast as possible. The first step of creating any video is coming up with, your ideas, which video should you create, making a little master list of the different opportunities and ideas that you want to go after. And so the first thing you want to do is keyword research, right? And coming up with ideas for what type of videos to create. And so to do that, there's all sorts of different ways, right? Number one of the things that I've talked about this before is go and check out other channels in different markets and see what type of videos are they making for their markets that are doing well that you can recreate for your market. Here's his channel here, San Antonio, Texas Living. I just hear, y'all want to hear something? I just got off the phone with Greg right before this call. And he did 30 million in volume, a little over, I think 34, 35 million in volume last year, 2021. I told y'all he's the one that went from 8 million to 30 million in 1 year. Well, I just talked to him we're 22 days into February. He's already done about half of what he did all of last year. He's at 15 million for the year so far already, closed volume. He said all from YouTube. So he's been building his team, growing his team. I mean, it's getting ridiculous. So just to give y'all again more inspiration, you are on the right track, but you just got to do it, right? And he doesn't have that many videos. He's like, Kyle, I couldn't even. He's like, I'm not even going to do a video for February because I just had to build my team. He's like, I can't keep up right now. He said over this weekend, just this past weekend, he had 4 buyers that set consultations with his team without him ever even having to do anything. They just set it right on Calendly. He had 4 appointments over the weekend, and he just changed his last call to action to where now, as before, it was set up an appointment with me. He was really afraid, as he's been building his team, to be hey, set up an appointment with my team. He thought that would hurt him. But his last call to action was, hey, set up an appointment with my team. And then he still had the 4 appointments come in over the weekend from that. So pretty crazy, guys. And he says, I mean, obviously a lot of it's buyers. But, he said about every 4 buyers he gets, he works a seller. So he's it's still working out. But just be prepared. You are going to have to think about that the majority of these people that are going to come in from YouTube mostly are going to be buyers, but you'll get some sellers from it. And then if you want to focus on just creating seller content, you might be able to change that around a little bit. But a lot of what people are doing, especially for his channel, is, they're people coming in and moving from out of the state or whatever. And, and they're trying to get information about the market. And so they're mostly buying homes. But every now and then, you'll get people that are in the market and they got to sell and then they want to buy and they just came across a video of yours that was helpful to them. So, but coming onto a channel like this, sorting it by going like most popular. Here you go. Top 5 pros and cons of moving to San Antonio, Texas. Top 5 pros and cons of moving to Denver, right? What would stop you from making that video? Searching where to live in San Antonio, Texas, searching where to live in Denver, right? Like you could start there, make all of those videos. They obviously do very well. 31,000 views, 72,000 views, 28,000 views. Really, I mean, how much does it really cost to live in San Antonio? That's, cost of living type of a video. $300,000 homes for sale in San Antonio, Texas. Where to live, like in that type of a price point. $400,000 homes. So, doing price point specific videos. 21 things you must know when living in San Antonio. So like, I mean, there's your first, you could do 10, 15 videos right here, right? Greg doesn't have a ton of content. So, I mean, you could actually do the same thing. Living in, like I know in El Paso, John Pena has a great channel as well. Yeah, you could click on his stuff, come over here, sort it. I'm not saying like, look at his channel for like, to do all of this stuff. John's got some good stuff, sort it by his most popular. Where to live in El Paso, top 5 reasons why we moved to El Paso. Yeah. So anyways, you can do some market area stuff. The West, like if there's particular like neighborhoods or areas that people are more interested in your sub segment, then do a video specifically about that. Like you did the west side of El Paso, the east side of El Paso. Those videos have done very well. Property taxes, you can talk about that type of stuff. Chico's Tacos. I actually visited Chico's Tacos one time going through El Paso. It was pretty good. It was definitely interesting food, but I'd have to watch that video. But do the same thing. Like you could do living in just Seattle, right? And then come in here and then look for like people. I think I did a thing about Bryce's channel, living in Seattle, Bryce Greenleaf. You come in here, sort it by some of his most popular. There you go. You can see, I mean, there's always a trend, guys. I mean, pros and cons, cost of living, avoid moving to Seattle. This is like one of those opposite videos, right? Like telling people you don't want to move to Seattle unless, and then you give them a few reasons why they should. So this is a way that you could kind of do your keyword research. Now, obviously, you're just kind of mimicking a lot of what other people are doing. If you wanted to do some custom stuff, which in the beginning, I think that you definitely should focus on at least kind of having a foundation of some like videos that that work. And then the more that you like have, kind of served that niche or served those people, and then you can kind of branch off and have some more custom stuff. Totally cool. But definitely like looking at doing some of these more popular ones. But then once you get to a point where you're like, all right, cool. Like now I've kind of, gotten those down. I want some other ideas for videos. Like if it was me, I would start with San Antonio, right? And then I could start looking at like, what are other people interested in, for San Antonio? You can put San Antonio like A, you can go B, you can go C, you can go D, and you can start getting just like ideas. Cause if they're pulling up on the auto suggest, chances are there's a lot of people searching for that stuff. And the one thing that you got to always keep this in mind, like if I was going to be creating a buyer seller channel for my local market, I would definitely have, some of these like staple videos in there, but I'd also have some videos where I'm just being like a helpful resident of the local area, right? So you could put top 3 aquariums you need to visit in your area, top 6 parks that you should take your kids to, 10 free things that you should take, for the family, like have videos where you actually showcase not just your knowledge of real estate, but your knowledge of the actual area. And the cool thing that you're going to get about that is you may not get people that are, buying a home because they watch your top 10 free things to do in San Antonio. But what you're going to do is you're going to, for one, build your brand. People are going to now be like, oh, that was a realtor that made that video. Maybe that if they are looking to buy or sell, they'll remember, or the next time they see your channel when they're on YouTube, they'll remember, whatever, right? But that's where you can go after things. Like, don't just go after everything that everybody else is doing. Do some of them. I mean, there are ones that you do need to do, but you can also separate yourselves by doing some videos that are a little bit more like you're just adding value to people, not necessarily just about real estate, but just about your local market to show your expertise. So that would, of course, be another thing that you could do. Not 100%, but I think, what you need to do is definitely start out with, creating a list of like 20 keywords that you want to go after. And then if you want to use a tool, you can use like TubeBuddy. Uh, you can use TubeBuddy, you can use vidIQ, you can use Morning Fame. I'll be honest though, guys. I mean, I use this just as kind of it's like interesting to me, but I don't even know that honestly that TubeBuddy, helps a ton with my channel, right? As far as like what I get from it, I do like the fact that I can easily select tags from it, but as far as like the research part of it, let me just show you what I mean. So like in TubeBuddy, you've got like there's Keyword Explorer, and I could put EXP Realty versus Keller Williams, right? I could search for this, and it's going to tell me like, if it's a worthwhile opportunity for me to go after, right? But see, here's the thing. Search volume, it says, is poor. Competition, it says, is very good, meaning that there's not a whole lot of competition for the videos. Overall optimization strength based on my channel means that, it's very good. Like I could rank for something like that. And I do. But like search volume poor, I mean, I've had like 40 or 30,000 views from that video, right? Like, so you got to use this with a grain of salt if you're using any tools like that. I think that's why finding videos that have done well on other people's channels in different markets, I think, we're all creatures of habit. Our markets, yes, they're unique, but a lot of people are going to be searching for a lot of the same things, different markets. So that's where, even if like this told you something different, I wouldn't worry about it too much. I would still just create that content. Now, what I want to do for the next week, because we will meet next week, is I want you guys to come up with a list of 20 of the first videos. And it can be, you can actually just come up, if you want to come up with keywords, that's great. If you want bonus points, title those keywords as well. So that way I can critique some of you guys as far as, like if you know what the keyword you want to go after, what is your title going to be? What keywords would you want to do? And then, come up with a YouTube title. Once you've identified these opportunities, these video titles, and these keywords, then the next step is going to be, creating a script, or at least at the minimum, an outline, so you can start actually making the videos. And so I'll go through, that's going to be my next process that we kind of talk about, as far as like, now, once you have a keyword, like I'll take you through a step-by-step of like, if I was going to make, something about how to write a real estate listing, I'll show you what my process would be, like how I script out my videos. Cause I do a full script. I don't just do a bullet point. So like showing you my process of that. And then that way, so like next week, we're going to cover that full process. But once you've done that, then you'll be ready. You'll be able to write your script, or at least your outline. And then the next part will be recording the video. So we're going to get there, but then guys, and I mean, this is why, some of this stuff is, I feel like it's hard for me to teach anything new. Cause it's like, a lot of this isn't going to be new, right? Like it's going to be mostly like you set this up, and then once you do it, you're going to have a system and a process, and it's just duplicating it, doing it over and over and over and over, having if it's 3 videos a week, you're going to do 3 videos a week, and you're going to stick to it. And then eventually over time, you're going to see it really grow. I'll show you as far as like my channel, go into some of the analytics real quick, and then I've got to hop off. Oh shoot, it's already 4:45. Pull up here, last lifetime. So, I mean, like, this is how it works. Like here, like I was making video. And then finally, after I had 75, or, I don't know why YouTube at that point, just like, okay, now I'm going to really start pushing your channel, right? Cause they believe that you're going to keep creating content. And you can see here, like all of a sudden, I mean, I was still, making videos, but now all of a sudden it just started to grow a lot faster, right? To where it's at today. And so like with this first part where you're going to be making 1 video, 2 video, 3 videos a week, you're going to feel like, it's the same thing over and over, and that's totally fine. You're going to be finding your voice. You're going to be getting better. Maybe you'll be getting better equipment as you go. But the overall process is create that list of the videos that you want to create. And then I'm going to show you how to do the scripting or outlining process, and then just hitting record, and then either paying an editor or editing yourself. and then we'll get into the publishing part. And then we'll get into the actual process of scripting out your videos. The most fun part, I think, is going to be once we actually start recording videos and kind of looking and seeing. I know it's scary, guys, but there's nothing that you can make. Like, you go back and look at some of my first YouTube videos, they're terrible, right? Zoom calls, that's all I did. I recorded Zoom calls and I uploaded those to my YouTube channel. So I guarantee yours will be, better than all my stuff was, right? It's just that you find your voice over, doing the videos 50 or 100 times.
All right, there you have it. Kyle just handed you the exact blueprint for finding winning videos that actually convert to real estate leads. The example with Greg alone should have you fired up about what's possible. Here's your homework before part 3. Create your list of 20 keywords and titles. Don't skip this step. Remember, this is about building the foundation of 50 to 75 videos as quickly as possible. Part 3 is where things really get exciting. Kyle's going to show you his complete scripting process step by step, and trust me, you don't want to miss that one. If this video helped you see the potential of YouTube for your real estate business, then smash that like button and subscribe for the full 5-part series. Drop a comment below with your market area. I'd love to see where everyone's going to be implementing these strategies. See you in part 3 where we turn those keywords into conversion-focused scripts.